Hey, how's it going, everybody? Marcus here with MGN Sports, and in this video we are going to be predicting the upcoming matchups in the NFL Wildcard weekend. You guys, this is going to be our NFC predictions. We already came out with the AFC predictions a couple days ago, getting this one out a little bit late here, but thankfully none of the NFC matchups start up till tomorrow, so we still got a day ahead of schedule here to be able to get these ones out for you guys. We'll start off with the first game, obviously, the Packers versus the Cowboys, starting up at 4:30 Eastern. You guys, this is going to be a great game. I'm a huge Packers fan, do a bunch of Packers content on this channel, so I am absolutely juiced up and fired up for this one. Packers are coming into this one with a 9-8 record to finish off their season. Cowboys are coming in with a 12-5 record. Going to be a tough game for the Packers on the road here. They got a 4-5 road record on the season. Cowboys have not lost at home yet so far. They're 8-0 on their home field this season, so this is going to be an uphill battle from the get-go for this Packers team. Cowboys are coming into this one winners of their last two in that Week 18 matchup. They beat the Washington Commanders by a final score of 38-10. Just trounced them in that one. Over on the Packers side of things, they're coming into this one winners of their last three, so both teams are coming in on a hot streak here. Obviously, the Packers won 17-9 over the Bears to clinch that playoff spot, you guys. As of right now, the Cowboys are favored by a touchdown in this one. I think it'd be a safe bet to take the Packers +7, but Cowboys to win the money line at this point in time. I'm really hoping the Packers can pull this one out here. As I am a Packers fan, it'd be really nice to see you guys. Obviously, Mike McCarthy playing against his old team. I'm very familiar with how he's squandered opportunities down the stretch with his clock management, so hopefully he does that again and helps the Packers out in this one. We'll go through some of the key players in this matchup as well here. Jordan Love with an outstanding season for the Green Bay Packers in his first season as a starting quarterback. Finished off with 4,159 yards on the year, 32 touchdowns to only 11 interceptions. Just continued to get better as the season went along. Obviously had that little bit of a tough patch of games there, but really has turned it on as of late and is looking like the Packers' new franchise quarterback of the future, you guys. And then over for the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott had an MVP caliber season, had 4,516 total yards passing, 36 total touchdowns, passing it to 9 interceptions. So a very, very good season for him in Mike McCarthy's first year as the offensive, or calling the offensive plays. Obviously, Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator last year, and McCarthy took over the play calling duties. It's been doing a masterful job for Dak in that offense this year. Over to the running backs, Aaron Jones has started to heat up here. He's got 300-yard games in his last 3 appearances. Obviously didn't have a lot of yards on the season as he was injured for most of the season for us, but did have 656 total yards for a 4.62 average. Only scored 2 touchdowns and had 1 fumble on the season. Would love to see him get heated up here against the Cowboys in their home stadium. He's always performed well down in Dallas, so I would expect a big game from Aaron Jones in this one. Tony Pollard had a solid season, 1,005 yards rushing. Only had a 3.99 average, so under 4. So hopefully we can stuff the run early and often in this one and force them to pass, so we can let loose the pass rush on the Cowboys. Pollard also finished with 6 touchdowns and a fumble on the season. Reed, our rookie wide receiver for the Packers, outstanding season for this guy. He's got to be finishing on an all-rookie team, I'm sure of it. He had 64 total receptions, 793 yards, and 8 touchdowns as a rookie. Just outstanding. He was our best receiver this season, one of our most healthy receivers as well. Played through some injuries in a few games here. I believe he's got some chest problems that he's still going to be a go in this game. So just a tough, hard-nosed guy and a really, really high-quality wide receiver out of the second round for this Green Bay Packers team. And then CeeDee Lamb with an absolute outstanding year, 135 total receptions, 1,749 total yards for him and 12 touchdowns. So we're going to have to be careful. This guy could definitely be the deciding factor in the game. If they allow CeeDee Lamb to get loose for over 100 yards and a couple touchdowns, that's going to go a long ways to the Cowboys' success. He's had an outstanding season. He's obviously Dak's go-to guy. Those two got real good chemistry going right now, so we're going to have to watch out for them. We'll go over to the injury front here, you guys, before we finish off this video. Over on the Cowboys side of things, only Cooper Rush is questionable right now with an illness. There is no other designation specified when I went to look at the injury report on the Cowboys website there. And then over on the Packers side of things, we got 3 people here Jair is questionable with a shoulder/ankle injury. Rolled his ankle there in practice earlier in the week, so he is questionable. He's going to be left right down to a game time decision. A.J. Dillon is doubtful as he injured his neck in the last one, as well as he's been dealing with a broken thumb. So not a shocker that he probably won't be playing in this one. And then Christian Watson, our stud wide receiver, has missed most of the season with the hamstring issues, is questionable in this one with the hamstring as well. Even if he was on a snap count and we were able to get him out there for a few plays, would be huge. So we'll have to see what happens there. But not too many major injuries on the injury front for both teams here. So both teams are looking pretty healthy going into this one. Give you guys a little final score prediction before we finish off this matchup here. I would have to go 31-28 for the Packers, you guys. I am a Packers fan, obviously, so I got to pick my team in this one. And I do think Mike McCarthy is going to squander the opportunity late. Like I said, I've seen him so many times as a Packers fan just shit the bed on some of these clock management situations down the stretch of games. He's done it as a Cowboys coach. He's done it many times as a Packers coach, and I think it's going to cost him again in this one, squandering the opportunity to possibly tie it up late or maybe leaving too much time on the clock for Jordan Love and that offense to drive down the field for a game-winning score. So that's my prediction, you guys, 31-28 for the Packers. Now we'll go ahead and move on to the next matchup here. We got a great Sunday night game. Stafford heading back to Detroit to face his old team in the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff facing his old team in the Rams that he took to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they weren't able to win when they went to the Super Bowl that year. But nonetheless, man, this is a very intriguing and very exciting matchup. The Detroit Lions have not been in the playoffs for many years here. I believe this is their first time hosting a home game in like 30 plus years. So it's going to be very exciting. The atmosphere is going to be just amping in that stadium. As of right now, the Lions are coming in as 3-point favorites in this one. We'll look at some of the matchup here. The Rams are coming in with a 10-7 record on the season. Lions come in with a 12-5 record. Rams are 5-4 on the road this year. So they're a pretty good road team, but the Lions are also a pretty good home team with a 6-2 home record. You got to have to watch that Lions defense. They do tend to allow a lot of points, so I think that's going to play into the Rams' benefit here. Rams are also coming in on a very hot stretch of football, winners of their last 4, even being able to hold on by a final score of 21-20 versus the 49ers last week. Obviously, the Niners didn't have all their starters playing. Brock Purdy was out, and a lot of their starters were out of the lineup in that one. But the same thing was for the Rams. They had Carson Wentz start that game. They didn't even have Matt Stafford start it, and they were still able to pull out the victory there. So it just goes to show you how all the pieces on the Rams team are playing real good right now. Same thing on the Lions side of things. They won their last game there of the season by a final score of 30-20 versus the Vikings. So as long as that Lions defense holds up, I think that the Lions are going to have a good chance in this one. But if that defense fails them, I just don't think they're going to be able to win that shootout battle, as I think the Rams defense is going to be formidable enough to stop Jared Goff from scoring too many points. I do think the Lions will be able to put up some points in this game. I just think that Rams defense, if they have to, they can button down the hatches and shut them down for a few drives throughout the game. We'll look at some of the key players in this one. Obviously, we'll start with the quarterbacks here. Stafford finished his season off with 3,965 yards, 24 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Obviously missed a few games throughout the season due to injury as well, so that's not a full stat line for a full 17-game season. Jared Goff had a really, really phenomenal season for the Detroit Lions, one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. You guys finished off with 4,575 yards passing, 30 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. So a really, really nice season from him. Hopefully he can continue to keep that going into the playoffs here. Looking at the running backs, Kyron Williams has been a big-time standout for the Rams, you guys. He's had an outstanding year, 1,144 total yards rushing with a 5.02 average, which is a really nice average. Also had 12 touchdowns and 2 fumbles on his season. So you got to watch that average of 5 yards a carry, man. They're going to be looking to get that run game going in this one for sure, especially with his 5 yards a carry. That's big time, right? So that's going to set the tone early in this game, I think, for the Rams, you guys. And then Jahmyr Gibbs had a really nice season as a rookie as well. 945 yards for the Lions with a 5.19 yard average, 10 total touchdowns as well with 1 fumble. So just really impressive, both of these running backs over 5 yards a carry. So I'd be looking for both of these teams to get their run game going early in this one. Looking over to the receiving game, they got some stud wide receivers as well. The rookie Puka Nacua had an outstanding season, the best rookie wide receiver season that we've seen so far in the NFL. 105 total receptions for 1,486 yards and 6 touchdowns. The dude just came out of nowhere this year and had a really, really good season for this Rams team. He complements Cooper Kupp really nicely nicely. Same thing with Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's an absolute stud. Top 5 wide receiver in the game right now, in my opinion, you guys. 119 receptions on the season for 1,515 yards. Had 10 touchdowns as well. The dude is just masterful out there in his route running. And he's a really hard-nosed runner as well after the catch. He's got great yards after the catch as well. So it's going to be a great matchup. These two offenses are high flying. Can't wait to see how many points they can put up. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. We'll go ahead and look at some of the injuries as well in this one before we finish off this matchup, you guys. Starting off with the Lions here. Khalif Raymond's going to be out of this one with a knee injury. I think that hurts the Lions a little bit there, as he's a nice complementary wide receiver piece for them. Sam Laporta, their stud of a tight end rookie, is questionable with a knee injury, getting hurt in that Week 18 matchup. Hopefully he's a go in this one. He's had a remarkable season, one of the best rookie tight end seasons ever, and would be huge to have him in the lineup, so hopefully he can go in this one. They also got a linebacker, Houston, who's going to be out with an ankle injury. Cornerback Jacobs is out with a thigh/knee injury, and the tight end Mitchell is out with a hand injury as well for the Lions. And then over on the Rams side of things, you got their tight end Tyler Higbee, who's questionable with a shoulder. Hopefully he's able to go. He's a real nice complementary piece to that offense for them. Can make some big catches in key moments during the game for you. They also got one of their offensive guards, Noteboom, who's questionable with a foot. Their safety, Fuller's questionable with an ankle. Linebacker, Reeder's questionable with a knee. Another guard, Dotson, is questionable with a shoulder, and their D-tackle, Brown, is questionable with an illness. So a few injuries for both teams on both sides of the ball there. So it's kind of even on that standpoint, you guys. Should be a good matchup nonetheless. They still got a lot of key pieces that are able to play in this one. Like I said, I do think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. As much as I want to pick the Lions here, and I am hoping that the Lions win, even though I am a Packer fan, I still cheer for the NFC North teams to represent our division moving forward. And plus, it would be pretty exciting if we could end up getting a Packers-Lions matchup down the road here in the playoffs. But honestly, you guys, I got to take the Rams in this one. They're the hotter team, and I just don't trust that Lions defense fully. They're known to allow a lot of points and a lot of yards. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring matchup nonetheless, but I do think the Rams are going to hang on in this shootout victory by a final score of 35-31. So that's my prediction, you guys. The Rams are going to hang on, and unfortunately, that Lions defense is just not going to be able to do enough to be able to push them on to the next round. So 35-31 for the Rams in this one, you guys. And then we'll go ahead and look at our Monday night matchup here, the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Now, this one is quite intriguing as well. Obviously, the Eagles have been struggling majorly as of late. They have not been looking good in that second half of the season, basically since about week 12 or so. They've looked like they're in absolute shambles. And even with that, they're still favored by 3 points going into this one as the road team. Eagles are coming in, and look at some of the matchup stats. Eagles are coming in with 11-6 record on their season. Obviously haven't been playing very good lately. The Bucs are coming in with a 9-8 record themselves. They also haven't been playing outstanding as of late. Had a bad loss in their second last week of the season to the Saints there. They also only have a 4-4 home record. Eagles are coming in with a better record, 5-4 on the road. But the Eagles are coming in on a 2-game losing streak with just atrocious losses. I believe the two games ago, they lost to the Cardinals, and then that last game of the season there, they ended up pulling all their starters at halftime, losing by a final score of 27-10 versus the Giants. So just really bad losses so far for this Eagles team. Their defense is in shambles right now. I don't trust the Eagles defense whatsoever to be able to get anything done in this game and to be able to stop the Bucs offense, which hasn't been humming either. But like I said, if I had to pick a more trustworthy side of the ball, I would rather choose the Bucs offense over the Eagles defense right now, you guys. Obviously, the Bucs are coming in winners of their last one in a kind of an ugly win versus a pretty bad Carolina team. They only won by a final score of 9-0. So obviously, it's nice to see the Bucs defense is firing on all cylinders right now, but that offense is definitely going to have to play a little bit better if they're going to want to close the window for the Eagles to be able to advance to the next round. We'll go ahead and look at some of the key players in this one as well here. Jalen Hurts coming in with 3,858 yards on his season, 23 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. So not a very good season for him. Obviously, he had a bunch of rushing touchdowns. I think he had like 15 or 16 rushing touchdowns, which makes the totals look a little bit better there. But throwing the ball, he's never had a great season throwing the ball with the 15 interceptions to 23 touchdowns. Baker had a pretty nice season, though, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot better of a season than I think a lot of us expected. 4,044 yards total for him on the season, 28 touchdowns to only 10 interceptions. So nothing spectacular from him, but just a nice, formidable season. Managed the games for him, made some nice throws, had a little hot stretch of football there. Throughout those weeks, obviously had his best game of the season against my Green Bay Packers. So if he can find a little bit of that magic that he had against the Packers, which he should be able to play pretty decent against this lowly Philadelphia Eagles defense, I think that's going to go a long way for Baker Mayfield in this one. Looking at the running backs as well, Swift had 1,049 yards for the Eagles this season, a 4.58 average, so pretty nice average per carry. Also had 5 touchdowns and 1 fumble on the season. And then White, for the Bucs, had 990 yards on his season, only a 3.64 average, so not a very high average per carry, but he did have 6 touchdowns, fumbled the ball twice, so they're going to have to figure out a little bit in that run game there, get him going in this one, see if he can get that average yards per carry up a little bit in this playoff game. Then looking at the receiver matchup here, you guys, Devontae Smith with 81 receptions on his season, 1,066 yards and 7 total touchdowns. Mike Evans, another outstanding year for him, 79 receptions, 1,255 yards total for him and 13 touchdowns on his season. I believe that was his 10th or 11th season in a row, eclipsing the 1,000-yard mark. So just an impressive body of work from him over his career, you guys. So yeah, it's going to be a nice matchup on offense for both these teams. We'll go through some of the injuries in this one as well. The reason why I didn't bring up A.J. Brown as one of the key players is because he's going to be out of this game. He's designated with a knee injury, I believe, so he is not going to be in this matchup. That's a big-time blow to this Philadelphia offense. Obviously, he is one of their best players, definitely their best wide receiver, and that hurts them a lot and their ability to be able to move the ball down the field, you guys. There's no other specified injuries as of yet, as the game is on Monday night. There's no injury designations either right now that are specified for the Bucs. So we'll have to see what happens in the injury report. Maybe they come out with that later on today or tomorrow. But yeah, guys, I'll give you guys a final score prediction in this one. I'm honestly going to take the Bucs, as crazy as that sounds. I just have no faith in this Eagles team right now. They have completely fallen apart, and if they can lose to the Giants and lose to the Cardinals, man, they most believe they can lose to the Bucs, who are a 9-8 team, much better than the Giants and the Cardinals. So I really don't have a lot of faith, like I said. So I'm going to go 27-21 versus the Bucs, or for the Bucs, versus the Eagles. I just don't see that Eagles defense being able to stop them at all, even though that Baker and that Bucs offense really hasn't been humming at a nice clip as of late. I really just don't trust this Eagles defense whatsoever. And then to compound with that A.J. Brown being out on the offensive side of the ball and that Bucs defense kind of get rolling, I think that's going to make it very tough for the Eagles to score enough points to win this one, you guys. So that pretty well wraps it up for this video, you guys. I got the Green Bay Packers upsetting the Cowboys by a final score of 31-28. I got the Rams upsetting the Lions by a final score of 35-31 in a shootout. And then I also got the Bucs upsetting the Eagles on their home field, you guys, by a final score of 27-21. So those are my predictions in the NFC Wildcard weekend. Can't wait for the football to start up here, you guys. Got a couple games in the AFC later today. Looking forward to it all. Would love your guys' opinion in the comments section down below. Who do you think is going to be advancing from the NFC Wildcard round here? But that pretty well wraps it up for this one, you guys. I appreciate you guys watching, and this is Marcus with MGN Sports signing off. Peace.